Good day, brother. I know exactly how you feel if you've clicked on this video. I've been there myself, many times. Both when I was an insecure, skinny, shy teenager who got bullied by the guys and got zero interest from the girls, and even till this day, as an adult, confident man in my 7-year relationship with my beautiful woman. Growing up, I often felt like I'm just not the type of guy who can ever build a great relationship, that I can never have what other men have, that I'm simply not made for this. And every man goes through phases where they are thinking about just quitting on love altogether. Because for a lot of us, the experience of love is one filled with frustration, anger, fear, doubt, and frankly, hopelessness. And I've certainly been right there. But I've learned a couple things over the years on how to deal with those destructive thoughts and emotions, and they have been fundamental in me building the thriving 6, almost 7-year relationship that I'm in right now. To be transparent with you, the 4 deeply honest and life changing lessons that I'll share with you today in this video have turned my experience of love into one filled with joy and peace. And my goal is that by the end of this video, you are also able to create an experience of love for yourself that is filled with this richness, this joy, and this peace. Let's not waste any time. For lesson 1, let's stop denying something. Because all of us men have moments in our lives where quitting would feel a lot like peace. I'm convinced that we all sometimes have these moments where we think about just shutting down everything, quitting our job or quitting our business, cutting off everyone out of our lives, moving to some random country and just starting over again because we think that that would give us we think that that would give us peace. Let's stop denying that, because peace is what we're really after here. Let's also stop denying that. And here's one fundamental truth for you that you haven't been able to admit to yourself. You're not supposed to have love figured out already. And here's another fundamental truth. Nothing outside of you can give you that peace if inside of you there's only fear and chaos and turmoil. Whether it's your past relationships or your current relationship maybe, they're all a reflection of what's going on inside of you. She wants to give you love. Every woman wants to give love. But you are blocking her love from entering you because you've learned to deny yourself that love in order to reach your goals. And I get it, dude. I was honestly convinced that if I let go of these kind of dark motivations of anger or fear or pride, of trying to prove something to someone else or just being angry about my own situation, that I would get complacent, that I would not reach my goals. And here's the thing. This is the dumb stuff about this. It actually worked. I built the business. I built the body. I moved to a fucking paradise. It actually worked. But then I lost all my drive once I achieved that goal. You can look at this channel and see how many videos I uploaded this year. It's not a lot compared to last year. That happened because I achieved those goals. Because then there was nothing driving me anymore. I had proved it to all those people. I proved it to myself, frankly. I was now okay with my situation. Very okay, actually. I don't know if you could see that dog, but there was a super cute dog. Like, big dog, but super cute dog just running around in the back here. Anyway. Yeah, it worked. And then I felt drained. And then I had to go through this phase of actually not denying myself that love anymore. And getting to a place where light motivations, like love, like joy, like peace, were now my drivers. And that is the case now, but still I have this voice in my head that's telling me, man, you have to find people again who are your enemies, who you need to prove something to or whatever, or you have to be angry about your situation. You have to be not okay with your situation because otherwise you're going to get complacent, which is not going to happen, right? That's just my ego trying to survive. But I feel you, man. It's A very common thing that we deny ourselves that love, our own love, love from other people, just to not get complacent. Because we think it would make us complacent when in reality it would motivate us beyond anything that we can imagine. Look, man, the transition from denying myself that love and that peace to actually embracing it wasn't easy. And it still isn't easy at times. But it's absolutely worth it. I want to be vulnerable with you for a moment because just last week I fell back into old patterns and I was doubting my relationship heavily. And I was considering to just quit because I thought that that would give me peace. But then something higher within me made me realize that, sure, I can skip this challenge. I can quit here and I can, whatever, go on. I won't die if I do that. But that higher voice within me told me very clearly, if you skip this challenge, if you skip this obstacle, it will come right back at you. You will have to face it again. Understand that, man. Every obstacle you skip will come right back at you. You will have to face it again. And by the way, I hope you're taking notes, because if you're not, then you're wasting my time and you're wasting your own time. Now let's dive deeper into how I actually overcame those obstacles in lesson number 2, so that you can do this as well. Let me ask you this. How much love and how much peace are you allowing yourself to experience right now? Because the thing is, that love and that peace is always there, and it has always been there. And I'll go deeper into why that is and how you can tap into it actively in lesson number 4. But for now, please understand that a loving woman doesn't want to be with a man who denies himself that love. She wants him to receive her love. She doesn't want to be with someone who blocks off that love from entering him, who denies himself that love, both from himself and from her. A loving woman doesn't want to be with a man who shows himself no love. And I'm not talking about the modern bullshit self-love, whatever stuff. I'm talking about maturely masculine kindness, compassion, forgiveness, and love for yourself. That's what I'm talking about. And sure, hey, maybe you had an ex-girlfriend who wasn't very loving to you. Okay. Why was she in your life? Why did she stay in your life? Isn't that the exact same thing where you also denied yourself that love? You stayed with a woman who didn't give you that love because you were afraid of being with a woman who does give you that love? Or maybe that's in your current relationship. Maybe that started out very loving and she was very kind and loving and compassionate and everything to you. But then she became more nagging and more irritable and less just interested in intimacy with you. Why are you settling for that? What are you doing about it? It doesn't matter which way you twist it, it always comes back to you. And I'm not saying that women don't have to work on themselves and heal. I'm actually saying the exact opposite. But right now, I'm not speaking to your woman, I'm speaking to you. And you are fucking afraid of admitting to yourself that you are afraid, that you don't know what to do, that you feel hopeless. You don't want to feel those things. You don't want to see yourself that way. One of the guys who I've worked with who experienced this exact state was 28-year-old Josh. And you can learn a lot from his story, because Josh is this real strong cowboy kind of guy, like big beard, everything, right? And he was not able to admit to himself how scared he was, because he was with this awesome, loving, kind, compassionate woman, but he almost fucked it up. He was stuck in this downward spiral that sabotaged his sense of self-worth, sabotaged his career, sabotaged his relationship. But once he started doing the inner work with my guidance, he was able to let go of these feelings very quickly, actually. And you might not think that this had a big impact on him. You might actually think that this made him basically complacent and lazy, right? Because now he didn't deny himself that love and that peace anymore. But actually what it did for him is it allowed him to have the courage to move to his dream state of Montana together with his woman. It allowed him to make a massive career switch after an injury he had at work, which basically helped him double his income and actually make more money that then went towards building the actual kind of business and passion that he wanted to build. And it allowed him to build the honestly just pure companionship with his woman that he wanted. He sent me this picture or multiple pictures one time where after he moved to Montana, where he was just exploring Montana together with his woman. And he sent me these pictures, man, and he just looked so at peace in those pictures. To round off this lesson, I want to leave you with 2 short statements that you can easily remember because now you know what they mean. So number 1 is, what you resist persists. Any feeling that you resist, anything that you try to just push away, whatever, that will come back to bite you. Just like the obstacle that I talked about earlier will come back to bite you. And the second one is, simply feel it to heal it. I know this sounds fucking corny, and I know that we as ambitious, hardworking men, we don't want to bother with this stuff. But actually, this is the exact stuff that will enable you to get unstuck from all these challenges that you're facing right now, whether it's in your work or your business, your health, your relationship, it doesn't matter. This is the stuff that actually gets you unstuck. And by the way, if you're interested in working with me personally to do both the inner and the outer work to actually build the relationship you truly want, then you can click the link in the description and watch the video over there where I explain exactly how I can help you and how I've helped over 100 men already. And what you can also do on that page, if you want, is you can click that big orange button and send in an application for my mentorship. And I will then read your application and reach out to you if I think that you're someone I'd like to work with. And then we'll get on a free call so that you can basically decide whether this is something that you want to do. No strings attached, of course. Just send in an application if you want, and maybe we'll talk very soon. So now that you know about the inner work that I did, let's dive deeper into the outer work in lesson number 3, especially into how to navigate these feelings of wanting to give up on love when you're in a relationship. And if you're single right now, still listen up to this, because you can do all the work on yourself right now in basically your situation of being single, but then your situation changes, you get into a relationship, and then all the thoughts and feelings and fears that you had before, they change now. They're different thoughts, different fears. So you need to learn how to deal with those as well and be prepared for that. Because of course, when I was single, I had different rationalizations for why I should give up on love than now when I'm in a 7-year relationship. And I wish I was prepared for that. So I said earlier that these feelings came to the surface just last week. And I want to give some context on why that was and how I actually overcame it together with my girl. So to give some context, both me and my girl are in very stressful life circumstances right now. We both have deadlines that we need to meet for the stuff that we do. And there's a lot of pressure on both of us. And of course, this affects how we show up for ourselves and for each other, right? We've built a thriving relationship, but we're still human. Outside circumstances still affect us, right? We're still human, right? And especially for me, I honestly felt like she wasn't appreciative enough of my work, of my effort, of my perseverance, that there wasn't enough appreciation for me. I also questioned our sexual compatibility during that time because, well, if you're in a stressful phase of life, it's hard to even think about sex for my girl especially, right? It's one of those things where her head is just somewhere different. She's not able to go into that room where she's able to tap into her sexual desire, right? And all in all, I just thought, fuck all this, I'll just quit. Because again, I think that would give me peace, right? I thought that would lead me to peace, when of course it wouldn't. Now, when you're in a relationship, these feelings will not just affect you, they will also affect her. She will feel this, whether you tell her about it or not. And it's very important that you handle it in the right way, because otherwise you could blow up your whole relationship within a couple days, and a few days later, you will regret everything that you've done. So let me explain how to do this. Bro, there's 2 mice. There's literally 2 mice running around here. I can't stand up and show on the camera, but this is so cute, man. I'm in this field, right? And there's just two mice. Now they're going, oh man, this was cute as hell. This like tiny mice, like they must be like a couple of weeks old, maybe, like tiny. Damn, this was cute. I love nature, dude. Anyway, let's get back to the point. How do you actually handle this? Well, there are a couple things, but first thing is you have to stop denying to yourself and to your woman that you are feeling this way. The longer you deny this, the bigger these feelings will get. Again, what you resist persists. The longer you resist these things, the bigger they will get, and the more they will just come out in an explosion instead of in a rational and loving way. We've all experienced this. You kept some resentment in and it exploded into, yeah, you exploded into your woman's face, essentially. That sounded sexual. Anyway, you get what I'm saying here. These mice completely distracted me, right? But back to the point. You have to be honest with yourself about these feelings, and then you have to be honest with your woman about these feelings. The earlier you do that, the better. I know you don't want to do it. I know if you're like, oh yeah, but we have such a good time right now, and like, oh, whatever, we're having lunch right now and everything's great, and she's so happy and I don't want to make her feel sad. The longer you keep it in, the more you will make her feel sad, man. You know that. I don't need to tell you this. So share how you're feeling and put a big emphasis on making your woman understand that you don't want to feel this way, that you don't want to give up on this relationship, that you actually want to figure this out. And also make her understand that she is not at fault, even though she might actually be, even though there might be things that she did wrong. The reason I'm saying this is because she is likely completely unaware that she did something that wasn't great. Because, well, if you don't tell her what you need and want from her, then how the fuck is she supposed to know? People can't guess. But people think this, right? Contrary to popular belief, as people like to say, people can't guess what you want just because they love you. You still have to tell them. And so this is why it's not her fault. This is why it again comes back to you. Of course, if you've told her a million times, that's a different story, right? But most likely that is not the case. And so be open about this with her, about how you're feeling, about the fact that you don't want to feel this way, and about the fact that you need her help, that you need her to maybe fulfill certain needs of yours, right? That you need her to maybe appreciate you more or make more effort in the bedroom or whatever it might be, right? That you have these needs because, yes, you can do all the inner work in the world, but you're still human and you still have human needs. And those needs are important. And if they're not fulfilled, you will continue doubting that relationship for a very rational reason, actually. And even if you've told her a million times, don't blame or judge your woman. If you actually think this is hopeless and there's no way that you're actually gonna ever be happy with this woman, then you need to make that decision. But if you don't think that that's the case, if something higher within you is telling you, hey, I need to do this, I need to, I can do this, we can do this together, then don't blame her, don't judge her. Even if you break up with her, don't blame her, don't judge her. There's no point in that. It gives you a little satisfaction, it gives you a little like, oh yeah, I paid her back, but that's all you get, and that's useless. That's worthless. And so don't judge her, don't blame her, and simply understand she is learning to love someone, just like you are learning to love her, and you're not always perfect. She's learning to love you. Give her time, be patient, be humble. And if you explain your goals, your needs, and your plan of actually getting those needs met and actually getting to that point where you have these thoughts, where you don't have these thoughts anymore, where you're not thinking about quitting this relationship or quitting on love altogether anymore, if you explain that to her in a direct way, and you also have the loving humility of that allows you to find a win-win solution with her, then man, you're gonna get there. A good woman will actually appreciate your courage and your integrity of sharing those things with her, and she will certainly help you. And man, this is exactly what I did last week. And yes, it was fucking terrifying. Even though I've had so many difficult conversations over the years with my girl, every single one of them is still scary. But like I said in my last video, the fear is not the truth. Let me say that again. The fear is not the truth. Nothing bad will actually happen. And hey, if it does, if she breaks up with you because you share your needs with her and because you have the courage to actually be open about your feelings with her and because you have the integrity that you as a man should have, and then she breaks up with you, well, man, then you will, yes, it will hurt for sure, but then you will very quickly realize that you deserved more all along anyway. But again, don't force that. Don't try to make that happen, right? Don't let your ego now take over and be like, okay, I'm just gonna trigger her as much as I can so that she breaks up with me because then she does what I can never do, right? A lot of men are stuck in that way, or in that situation. Don't do that. Still be kind, still be compassionate, still don't judge her, still have that humility, that loving humility. And even if she breaks up with you and you realize, man, this was not the woman I was supposed to be with, then I hope you can see that. I hope you can learn that lesson while still having compassion and understanding for her. Because hurt people, not healed people. She's probably hurting more than you do. And yes, she hurt you, and it's okay to feel that. But have compassion, have understanding for her as well. Now, I already mentioned that I'll explain a couple things in lesson number 4. But please realize that lesson number 4 is by far the most important and the most valuable lesson I'll give you in this video. Because I always keep the deepest and most impactful insights until the end of these videos for guys like you who put in all this time and all this effort into actually improving themselves and improving their relationship, because I think that that is a very valuable pursuit. So here we go. You're searching for the positive, peaceful, and supportive kind of love, right? And you've realized now that this has as much to do with you giving yourself that love and allowing yourself that love as it has to do with you receiving that love from other people, from your woman specifically. Now, here's one truth that you've likely never heard, but the moment I break this down, this will ring so true to you, or true with you, true. I don't know, I'm German. Anyway, here's the truth. The positive has always been there and will always be there. Let me explain this, because I'm not one of those people who's like, oh yeah, it's your birthright, whatever. No, that's a bit cringe, in my opinion. Anyway, even though it might be your birthright, I don't care, but it's just cringe to say, oh, this is your birthright. Anyway, when you release all the negative feelings, all the negative attitudes, all the negative beliefs that you hold within you, well, then what's left is only positive. As David Hawkins writes in his fantastic book, Letting Go, when the clouds are removed, the sun shines forth. You see the clouds of negativity, of negative feelings, negative thoughts, negative beliefs, negative attitudes. They are temporary. They're literally just like clouds. And it's great that we have this kind of very changing weather conditions today with sun and then clouds and then sun and then clouds, because this is exactly what it is. The clouds are moving, but the sun is always there. The sun is always there and it will always be there. The positive will always be there. And once you remove the clouds, that positive can shine forward. And I know that it's difficult to understand that when all that you know is clouds. It's very difficult to explain to someone that the sun exists when all that they've seen their entire life is rain. That was me when I was younger. Not all, of course, that I've seen, right? And this is exactly the key here. There were positive moments. Of course there were. Everyone has positive moments. And that's what you need to focus on, to actually understand that the positive has always been there. Focus on the sunny days that you've experienced. Don't hold on to the negative days. Let them go. But prioritize the sunny days. You know that the positive is there. That's why you're seeking it in the first place, because you are convinced it's there. That's why you're watching this video. because you are convinced that it's there. And so remove all the negativity. Let that negativity go. Allow yourself to let it go, because man, it feels good, that negativity, right? Feels good to feel these feelings of injustice, betrayal from a past partner. Makes you feel superior to them, makes you feel right. It also feels good to hold on to those feelings of hopelessness and fear and doubt, because they justify you not taking any action, right? Well, man, it's your choice whether you want to find yourself in that same place again 2 years, 5 years, 40 years down the line, just because it's a bit difficult to tackle it right now. Only you can make that decision. And again, if you're potentially interested in working with me personally to become the exact man that you want to be and to build the exact relationship that you want to lead, then you can hit the link in the description and watch that video that I made for you over on that page, where I explain exactly how I can help you. And then if you want, you can also hit that big orange button on that page and fill out the application form there. And if I like your application, because I will read it personally, and if I like it, I will reach out to you and we will get on a free call, just you and me, on a free call where we discuss everything, where we figure out any questions you might still have, and where we basically give you the opportunity to make the decision of whether you want to do this or not. And you know me, there's no strings attached, and you also know me, this is not some bullshit $300 course or whatever. This is deep, meaningful, powerful mentorship that is geared towards helping you make a transformation. So if that's something that is interesting to you potentially, then click that link right now, go check it out, and have a great day, man. Maybe we'll speak very soon. Bye.